Alrighty, let's get started. Recording's on, TikTok's on, right? Music's on, everything's good. All right, Discord knows. Alrighty, so let's kind of get started real quick, just looking at the market, and then we'll kind of delve into today's topic as usual. So, bit of an interesting day. Well, every day's an interesting day, but today we kind of just pumped up off open, right? 9:30. We chopped for about 10 minutes, right? So 9:30, yep, and around 9:40 something. We just pumped up. I know you guys know I don't trade for like the first 30 minutes. By the time I come, we're already way too extended. And then we kind of just chopped for the rest of the day. Pretty boring day, actually. Not an interesting day. Pretty boring day. So, what I wanted to talk about and what I'm mainly interested in discussing is why we feel stuck trading, right? Even though, right? Even though you guys make progress, even though you guys see results, it's kind of this like feeling that like what I'm doing isn't working long term, right? So you'll get a payout, we get our payouts, we pass our accounts, we see some progress, right? But it's just something that's stopping you, something that's like one or two things, one or two mistakes you consistently do that holds you back and you feel like you can't break out of it. You feel like you're just stuck here. It's never going to change. You're never going to change, right? So that's what we're going to talk about today. Pack, what's up, bro? What's up, bro? You did do good today, bro. I remember you in the Discord. He was we were talking earlier. Anyways, like I said, it's it's this stuck feeling, right? People come in, we come into the market, and we're just like, okay, I want to see improvement, and you guys just, all right, there's a disconnect, right? We come into the market, right, and we have this expectation of one thing, right? Not always results, right? A lot of the times, you guys don't come into the market expecting to win, but you come in expecting yourself to be better than yesterday, right? No one comes into the market saying, okay, I need to win. Now everyone comes into the market saying, I want to be worse. Everybody says, I want to just improve myself, right? And that's kind of a trap, is something I noticed, is that like you guys are like, yes, I need to improve myself. I want to improve myself. I expect improvement. And as you kind of rely on that, you're saying, okay, if I don't see improvement, then I'm doing something wrong. It still ties into what I'm always talking about, which is you're only looking at results. If you come into the market and your only thought process is, I need to see something to justify what I'm doing, right? To explain that I'm doing it right, to prove that I'm doing it right. That's just a very crooked way of going about it, right? Because yes, I've seen it, guys. People will literally get payouts easy, like they'll make easy money, right? They'll get your payouts, you get your past due accounts. Trading is gonna feel easy at first, right? And then it's kind of this just like stop, right? It's this wall that you guys hit where it's like, hey, I know the strategy part enough, right? Maybe you're not perfect, right? No one's perfect. You're constantly refining it, but for the most part, you kind of understand what you need to get done. You know what it takes to be successful, right? You seen it personally or other people be successful. You know that, hey, this is what's going to work out more than likely. But you come into the market and you say, I want to be better. I want to do good, right? No one comes into the market saying I want to be bad. Nobody comes into the market saying I hope I blow my account today. Nobody comes into the market saying I'm going to overtrade and I'm going to revenge trade and I'm going to ruin my day, right? None of you guys do that. But why is it that we still consistently fall down that same path, right? Why do we come into the market promising ourselves we're going to do better and it just doesn't work out, right? How many of you guys have done that? Where you're literally sitting there and you're like, all right, I promise I'm going to do better. I promise if I go break even, I'm never going to take another trade again. I promise that I'm never going to make the same mistake. How many times has that happened, you guys? How many times have you gone through that? Well, you're literally sitting there and you're promising and you're not lying. You're not like pretending. You're not like, yeah, I promise, but I don't really care, to be honest. No, you're sitting there and you're being genuine and you actually are putting in a lot of energy and a lot of belief behind what you're saying. You're saying, I promise I'm never going to do this mistake. If I could just go break even, if I could just get this payout, if I could just get this one thing, I promise I'll never make that same mistake again, right? Very, very, very common, right? I see it all the time. Watch anybody, talk to anybody that ever, has done trading for a long period of time. You guys will see it, right? Where it's like, dang, I'm just sitting here promising myself, and yet I break my own promise, right? And again, it's not that you're lying to yourself, right? You genuinely believe it. So, what is the disconnect here? What's the issue between Like, why is it that you could promise it one day, believe it one day, really feel it one day, but then the next day it's not there, right? The next minute even, guys, I've seen it. You'll get break even, and then you say, okay, I'm break even. I know I said I was going to close the trade, but I'll just hold it a little bit longer. Maybe I could get a little bit more profit. Maybe I could end up green today instead of, you guys understand? And that's one thing that I noticed that a lot of you guys go through, right? And no one really knows why. No one sits down and explains to you guys why that is, right? Everyone just says, "Yeah, you just need to fix that, bro. That's not a good thing." Yeah, bro, just be disciplined and it'll go away, right? And then you're like, "Okay, discipline, patience. Okay, I kind of know that that's what I need, but how do I do it, right?" And I'm gonna tell you right now, the only way to overcome it, this way of thinking, is recognizing two things. You need to do two things. Number one is you need to accept that, yes, you feel a certain type of way. You feel like you need to do this. You feel upset. You feel frustrated. You feel whatever it is. Accept your emotions, right? A lot of people are going to tell you guys, no, you need to be emotionless. And I'm going to tell you, good luck, bro. Good luck, because you're not a machine, right? All it takes is one bad day, right? So instead of trying to pretend that we're not upset, instead of trying to pretend that we're not, frustrated, the first thing you need to do is you need to accept. And you say, yes, I am frustrated. Yeah, I'm upset, bro. This is pissing me off, honestly, right? It's unfair, right? How is it that I did all this work in it, right? Say it out loud. Don't try to like push it away. And the second thing you need to recognize is the second part, right? Once you recognize that, yeah, I am upset. But the second part is, yes, I feel this way. Yes, I really believe this. But how many times have I believed in this, or have I felt this way and it ended up deceiving me? It ended up being not true, right? So, for example, you thought that this trade was going to be awesome. You thought that this was going to be the best day you've ever done. You were one day away from a payout, bro. You were one day away from passing your account. You were so close, right? You felt like it's impossible for you to fail, right? You felt like this is it. This is the end of the road. I'm finally going to make it. And then what happened? You crashed, right? So it's accepting the emotions and recognizing, yes, this is how I feel, but my feelings change constantly, right? One minute I'm promising I'm never gonna do this, the next minute I'm flip back all my rules again. You guys understand? And once you could recognize that that's true, right? Yeah, I do that a lot. I will constantly promise myself I'll be better. I will constantly tell myself I'm never going to do this again. I'll constantly tell myself I'm going to be more disciplined, and it never works out, right? It's recognizing that, oh, I'm leaning on how I feel that moment, right? So what does that mean? You guys are coming in, and if you feel good, you come into the market and you're saying, oh, today I feel very strongly about this. And if it turns on you, all that energy gets flipped. Oh, bro, I thought I was going to see good results today, and now I'm seeing bad results. Now it's like all that energy goes where, right? It doesn't disappear. You keep redirecting it, right? And because you can't recognize that your emotions are just a temporary fleeting thing that constantly change, right? I mean, who's telling you guys this, right? Most people are going to tell you, no, you need to have a confidence, you need to be disciplined, you need to believe in yourself, right? And I'm not saying don't believe in yourself, but what I'm saying is belief is a two-way street, right? If you're believing in something, you're giving that power over you. So if you believe fully in your emotions and you believe fully in what you're seeing, then that's your reality. And when reality changes, when the market changes, when the trade goes red, what ends up happening? All that energy is still believing in it, but now it's not there anymore, right? That green day, that $1,000 day, guys, I had someone literally come in the other day. Bro, I made like 3, 4K in a day, and he blew it all, right? Because once it started switching, it's his foundation was leaning on that. He was still leaning on the result, and when the result disappeared, what ended up happening? He blew his account, right? And that's what a lot of us struggle with, right? It's maybe it's not that to that extreme, right? But it's the same energy where it's like, you know, I'm kind of reckon you guys need to recognize, like, yeah, that is true. Like, I will say something or I will believe something, and I'll switch on that foundation in like 5 minutes, bro. In 1 minute, you'll take a trade and you're gonna be like, yeah, bro, this trade's a banger. And then 5 minutes later, you're like, why on earth did I even take this trade? Or you'll be like, oh, this looks good enough, or this looks terrible, or this is like, right? Okay, so now you guys are kind of like, all right, we get it, 80 trades. We can't really, I'm kind of seeing that you're right. Like, I can't trust it necessarily. Yes, obviously, we have to have, some belief, some confidence. But how do we then differentiate between those types of thoughts, which are like deceiving us, and the types of thoughts that are actually aligned, right? Thoughts that actually make sense, right? Because sometimes you'll have a good thought, which is, oh, this is a good trade, and you'll enter it into a good trade, right? So, how do you then pick apart these two, right? How do you then decide between what's something we should follow that's solid and foundational versus an emotion or a feeling that's fleeting, right? Something that'll change in an instant. It's one thing. All you have to do is one thing, is measure your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, your action that you want to take against something that is stable, right? So, for example, let's say you get a thought that says, "Hey, I want to take a trade. I promised myself I was only going to do or one trade a day, but I want to take a third trade or a fourth trade." Let me measure that against something that's solid. What's something that's solid? Our plans, right? If you write down your checklist, if you write down your plan for trading, does it change? Right? Is it magically going to disappear the next day and change? No, right? So you need to take your thoughts and measure it against something that's solid, measure it against something that's foundational, measure it against something that doesn't change, that isn't fleeting. You guys understand? That's all it takes. That's it. That's literally, I just gave you guys the blueprint right now. Blueprint. Like, you know what I'm saying? Blueprint. You guys have any questions? Sheesh. In literally less than 10 minutes, I just broke down exactly why you guys are having your problem, how to overcome it, and the next step that you guys need to do in an actual application. So that way you're not just saying, you know, if you guys just got in, don't worry, bro. I just started the stream. I got you guys. I'll repeat what I got to say. So, actually, give me 1 second, guys. All right, sorry, guys. Had to go check on something real quick. So, what was I just saying? Oh, right. I remember. So, right, a lot of you guys are in that state where you're kind of recognizing that, hey, I'm kind of stuck, right? Am I being honest? A lot of you guys probably feel that way. Maybe not all of you, right? Maybe some of you guys are like, you know, in that position where, correct me if I'm wrong. Maybe this doesn't apply, but a lot of you guys are in that state where it's kind of like, I'm making some progress. I've seen some results, some success. I've got some good trades in. I've passed some accounts. I maybe got a payout already, right? Maybe even a few payouts. Maybe even a lot of payouts, right? But as much success as I've had, there's still some things that are holding you guys back, right? There's still some bad habits that you do. Maybe there's still some, you're undisciplined still. Yeah, you got some payouts, but you're not consistent, right? Maybe you're not patient. Maybe you can't wait for your trade to set up, right? Am I wrong? I think most traders are in that spot, right? Where you're not quite hot, you're not quite cold, right? You're kind of in the middle, right? You're not really super profitable yet, but you're also not like a complete loser. You're not completely losing, right? So then what does it actually take to break your bad habits? Most of the time, if you're in that state, if you're in between, super profitable and unprofitable, it's usually, not always, but usually just a issue with yourself, right? Like if you've already got some payouts, if you already made some money, that's already kind of proving that okay, you know what you're doing, but it's a personal issue. You guys understand? It's a like a mind issue, right? Issue of the mind, right? And so, how do you actually recognize your bad habits, recognize what's holding you back, and then identify your bad habits, accept your bad habits, and overcome your bad habits, right? How do you actually break the cycle, right? And a lot of you guys are stuck in that cycle where you're up and down, up and down, up and down, right? You make a lot of money, you lose a lot of money, right? You're super happy, you're super sad, right? It's like a roller coaster, right? You guys understand? So then, how do we get out of that, right? No one wants to be in that state, right? You guys, I'm telling you, I've seen it a lot. You guys aren't like lazy. You guys have a lot of energy. You're coming into the market and you're saying, okay, I'm going to do my best. I'm going to try my hardest and I'm going to have a good day today, right? Am I wrong? And then you'll break your rules or you'll do something bad, one bad thing, and that kind of spirals, right? And you kind of spiral. Oh man, I can't believe I broke my rules. Oh my god, dude, I'm so stupid. Why did I even do that? Oh man, and not only am I now I'm not gonna get this payout, and now this payout I needed that to pay my bills, or I needed that to you know make the money I needed. Oh my gosh, and not only that, then now it's this guy got exposed and this guy got exposed. Is my model even working? Is my strategy even working? Oh, maybe it's a personal issue, right? And then you kind of start thinking, you start spiraling, right? Then you start saying, well, I don't know if my trading is working, but also last month it worked perfectly fine. So clearly, unless the market just changed month to month overnight, then it's probably a me issue. But then how is it a me issue? You guys understand? You guys kind of start spiraling, right? You guys start having all these issues and then you kind of dig yourself deeper, right? You make one bad trade and then you try to make the money back and then you take 10 more trades to make the money back. You blow the account. Now you're lost, right? Now you're stuck. So how do we actually fix that, right? How do we actually overcome these issues, right? A lot of people, I'm gonna tell you right now, a lot of people are gonna tell you guys one thing, which is just lock in, just be disciplined, just be patient. How many of you guys have tried that already? Be honest. I don't think any of you guys are not trying, right? I think all of you guys are trying to be patient. All of us are trying to be focused. All of us are trying to be disciplined. Okay, so if you're trying your hardest and it's still not working, do you guys think that it's your effort that's an issue, or do you think it's some other reasoning? Right? Is it a lack of effort? You're just not trying hard enough, right? Is that what it is? You're just destined to lose, or do you think it's probably something rooted a little bit deeper than just your effort, right? It's probably rooted in the fact that you're just going about it the wrong way. For example, if you're trying your hardest to swing the bat to hit a baseball, and you're trying super hard, but you don't even know how to track the ball. You don't even know how to take a proper swing. Do you guys think that it's your effort that's the issue, or you're going about it the wrong way? Right? You're probably just going about it the wrong way, right? You guys understand? Okay, so it's not an effort issue, right? It's more than likely you're just kind of going about it the wrong way. Okay, then what is the right way? How do you actually break out of this cycle? How do you actually overcome these issues, right? How do you actually be more patient? How do you actually overcome these issues, right? And I was just talking about this earlier. Pack, you're still in here, bro. He knows what's up. He was literally he's been in these lives for like a couple days, and he's already seen a lot of progress, right? So listen up, right? Your issue is not that you're not trying hard enough. It's not that you don't know what you need to do. All of us know we need to be disciplined. All of us know that we can't take 100,000 trades a day, right? All of us know we shouldn't be entering too early, right? So it's not knowledge, it's not effort. It's one thing. It's expectations for you to perform and expectations of outcomes. Okay, that kind of sounds like some buzzwords, bro. What is that? All right, let me explain. You guys will come into the market and you will say, I expect myself to be better than yesterday, right? No one's coming into the market saying, I expect myself to be worse. Everybody comes in expecting to be better, right? You guys expect, like, oh, I hope I don't trade. I don't want to overtrade. I don't want to, right? I don't want to be impatient. I don't want to, right? Do all the mistakes that I've been making. Okay. So when you guys are trying to be something, let's say you're saying, I'm trying to be patient. Are you guys patient or not patient? You're not, right? If you're saying that you're trying to be something, that means you're not that thing, right? If you're saying I'm trying to be patient, you're subconsciously saying I'm not patient and I need to fix this and I am you know what I'm saying? It's a personal failure. I'm failing, right? So when you guys come into something and you're already saying I'm failing, I'm not this thing, and I need to try my hardest to do my best. And if I don't do it, then I'm gonna feel super like you start feeling some type of way. Do you guys think that's honestly a foundation that's gonna be easy to work with, right? If you're coming into let's say you're going to go play a game. If you're coming into like a soccer game and you're saying, "Oh man, I'm really stupid and I really need to, you know what I'm saying? I'm really bad at this and I'm really bad at that," right? And yeah, last week I did pretty good, but this week I don't know, I made some mistakes. So I'll just try my best to dribble and get the goal, right? You're gonna be like, bro, why are you so like anxious, right? Your teammates are gonna say you're right. Your teammates are gonna be like, bro, you're tripping. Like, why are you tripping? Just play. You guys understand? And that's how a lot of you guys are operating. It's what I call operation from scarcity, right? Which means that you're working from a place of failure already. You're already coming into the market mentally defeated. You guys understand? And then you wonder why it's so hard to win and so hard to stay consistent. You guys understand? You're coming into the market and you're saying, I'm not patient, I'm undisciplined. Yes, my results are undisciplined. I agree with that. And therefore, I'm going to take that with me, carry that burden with me the whole time that I'm trading. And then now you're carrying it and you're like, wait, why is it that when I take a loss, it feels so personal? Right? Because you're carrying this expectation to perform better. You guys understand? That's the reason why it feels so hard. That's why it feels so hard for you guys to actually perform, right? Even just a no trade day feels hard, doesn't it? Right? You guys are coming into the market and you don't take a trade, you start feeling like you're not doing anything. You start saying, oh man, like how did I miss out on an opportunity? Maybe I could have taken a long here or a short here. And yeah, it's not really my model, but I could have done something, right? Why? Because you're carrying this burden, this expectation to do something, right? You're telling yourself, if I don't perform at this level, then I'm a failure, right? Why? Why do you guys do that? It's a subconscious thing. You're not consciously thinking, if I don't take a trade, I'm a failure. It's a subconscious thing. Why? Because we as humans are naturally wired in a way that once we see some level of success, once we see something that we like, we want more and more and more of it until our dopamine sensors continuously, right? If you guys, think of an addiction, right? You smoke one cigarette, you're not going to stop there. And now it takes two cigarettes to make you just as happy as the first one, right? Now three, four, five, six, right? It's the same thing with trading, where you guys will come into the market and you'll have some level of success. And now if you can't replicate that, you start feeling like you're doing something wrong, right? Why? Because you're only leaning on the outcome of what you're doing to feel some type of way. What does that mean? It means that when you have red days, you feel like you're the worst trader ever. You start questioning everything. Why? Because you only looked at one thing, which is this trade green or red? That's all you cared about, right? That's all you guys really cared about. You're like, oh, is this trade going to be red or is this trade going to be green? And it's not, again, you're not saying it out loud. It's a subconscious thing, but right? I'll tell you right now, if you guys take a banger setup, right? I'm going to tell you right now, if you take a 10 out of 10 setup, perfect. Everything looks perfectly aligned, right? And you're upset that that trade lost, right away I can tell you all you care about is results. Why would you be upset if you did everything right? You know? Does that make sense? So then, if the first thing on your mind and your number one priority is the outcome of the trade, is this trade green or red? If something is number one on your list, do you guys think that you're willing to kind of throw away 2, 3, 4, and 5 in order to get to number one, right? If I told you your dream car is a Lamborghini, but you have to give up, a Mercedes or a BMW or, you guys would throw those cars away immediately and say, hell yeah, give me my Lamborghini, right? And it's the same thing with trading. You have one thing on your mind that's number one. Yes, you still want to follow your rules. You're not coming in throwing away your rules, but they're not number one. The process is not number one in your mind. Number one in your mind is, I want that car. I want that payout. I want that eval pass. I want X, Y, and Z. I want to travel. I want to pay my bills. You guys understand? I don't want to work my 9 to 5. I want to work in online, right? I want to do this online and travel the world. So when all that stuff is number one in your brain, don't you guys think it kind of makes sense why you'd throw away 2, 3, 4, and 5 to get to number one, right? If following your rules isn't delivering the results you want in that moment, because we as humans live in the present, right? We don't live in the past or the future. So in that moment, if doing the right thing, following your rules, being disciplined, doesn't deliver what you want when you want it, then you're going to throw it away because it's not what you want. Right? If I told you guys that, hey, if you do all the right things and you work hard, you're going to be getting a boring job in a boring life. You guys would be like, hell no, I don't want that. Right? I want an exciting life. I want money. Then you wouldn't do what you're doing anymore. You'd go work somewhere else. You guys understand? It's the same thing with trading. If I told you guys that, hey, following your rules is going to get you where you need to go, you're going to say, okay, I'll follow my rules then. And then you follow your rules for a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and you say, hey, this isn't getting me where I want. I need to take matters into my own hands. And I need to get to do whatever I got to do to get to where I want because I'm not comfortable in this position of being, not having money or, right, whatever it may be. You guys understand? And it's something I talk about a lot, right? So something else I think is very important to kind of visualize the story, right? And something that I think a lot of you guys don't really think about, but none of us really think about this, is one thing. A lot of us see trading as our way out. Am I wrong? Right? Trading is, financial freedom. You don't have to work a job. You could buy nice cars. You could travel. You could, right? Whatever it is. Am I wrong? Most of us see trading as our way to get there, right? Maybe not fully. Maybe you'll start a business as well. Maybe you'll do some things on the side, right? But for the most part, trading kind of leads down that way, right, guys? Right? Trading leads down that path of financial freedom, of cars and whatever it is that you want, right? Maybe you want cars or a house or a yacht. I don't know, whatever it is. So if trading kind of equals freedom, financial freedom, right? Then when trading's going good, don't you guys start thinking, oh yeah, we're so up right now. You start scrolling on car dealerships and start picking out and customizing I know I did this too, right? I'd go on the car dealership and I'd be like, let me get the top model with the performance package and throw in the nice rims in there, the nice leather seats. And yeah, let me get the good speakers too, even though I don't even care. I'm going to just throw that in there because why not? Because I'm rich, bro. I just got to pay out, right? Am I the only one that did that? I'm the only one that did that then, huh? No, most of us do something similar, or you go on Zillow, or you start going on whatever it is, right? You start going on designer websites, right? Because why? Trading's going good, right? Because you're up right now. Like, what does it matter, right? You're leaning on the outcome, and the outcome is good. You're leaning on the fact that you have this progress. You're saying, bro, I just made $1,000, and you're like leaning on it. And you're saying, yes, that's me. I'm so up right now. But it's like you're sitting in a chair, right? You know, you guys are leaning back in a chair. That's what you're doing when it comes to results. But when the results aren't there, it feels like somebody just pulled the chair out under you. You're like, yo, what the heck? I just fell on the ground, man. What happened? Where's my results? You look at your chart and you start saying, oh, no, we're losing money. Oh, no, bro, and I'm further away from a payout. Oh, no, I'm getting closer to losing everything. I need to get my results back. I need to get my outcomes back, right? And then you guys wonder why you're breaking your rules, right? Because the chair was never the plan. You were never sitting in your plan, in your progress, in your discipline, in your patience, right? You were sitting in the results. You were sitting in the fact that you already had a few good winning days or a few good winning weeks, right? And when someone pulls that chair under you, when the market comes and destroys your plan, right? Because inevitably the market's going to give you a losing streak or some sort of, right, bad week or bad month. Then now you start questioning. You start saying, well, my chair's gone and I need to sit back up. I need to get back to where I was. So how do I do that? Then you start looking at everything and you start saying, well, I was still following my rules, wasn't I? Yeah, I was. So maybe my rules are the issue. Or, oh, you know what? Maybe it was just one mistake. Let me break my rules just a little bit. Let me bend them a little bit. And let me just kind of go the other way and see if that can get me back to where I was. Right? Well, this is what I call an outcome dependent mindset. Right? It means that the outcome, your emotions, your like your confidence depends on the outcomes. And if the outcomes aren't there, you start feeling anxiety. You start feeling like you don't know what you're doing. You start feeling like maybe trading's not even real. Should I quit? Should I stay? Right? Now, I'm the only one that had these thoughts, right? Am I the only one? No, most of us have thought this at some point or another. But there's a way out, which is what? Switching and slowly morphing from that outcome dependent mindset that only leans on the results to switching to the outcome dependent mindset, the outcome process oriented mindset. Sorry, process oriented. Right? It's a very subtle switch, right? It's not like you're gonna come into the market and you're like a monk and you're emotionless and you're like, oh, I have no emotions. I'm so peaceful. No, 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 no. It's not like that, right? It's one thing, right? It's one difference. It's very subtle, right? I'm gonna tell you right now. This is an outcome dependent mindset. Oh, I'm so upset. I'm so frustrated. Like this sucks. All right, what could I do about it? That's outcome dependent mindset. Process dependent mindset. It's the same thing. Very similar to the situation. I'm still upset. I'm still frustrated. But the process oriented guy is still upset. He's still frustrated. But there's one shift. Yes, I am frustrated and I'm upset. I'm still accepting that part of me because, again, we don't suppress our emotions here. We're not trying to be a machine. We're trying to be, improvement. Yes, I'm still upset. I'm still frustrated. But I could recognize one thing, which is, does this next action that I want to do align with the process, with my plan, with my, right? You have a checklist. Does it align with the checklist? And if it doesn't, I'm going to throw it away. Why? Because I could recognize that my emotions may change. I may look and feel a certain type of way. You may feel that, oh man, this trade's a banger. It's not. It might not be, right? So instead of leaning on that, saying that, yes, I feel this. Yes, I want this really, really badly. Again, guys, you don't have to pretend like you don't want these things. You don't have to pretend like losses don't upset you, right? Losses upset everybody, right? They upset me too. They upset, and ask anybody that trades and tell them if they can just walk away from a loss without feeling, at least for a few seconds, some type of way, right? But it's accepting that, yes, we are upset. Yes, I am frustrated. Yes, like this sucks. I can't believe it. Guys, the other week, I was that same way. Trump tweeted and my whole trade got blown, right? Literally from about to hit TP to break even, right? I still felt upset. We all feel upset when that happens, right? But the only difference is I can say, yes, I am upset. I can accept it. But I know that starting down this path is going to lead me down back to blowing my accounts, all right? If I re-enter, I'm not going to stop with one trade. I'm going to start with 2 trades, 3 trades, 4 trades, 5 trades, right? You guys understand? And I used to do it where I had like an account, I'd lock myself out. The next day, I'd disable it, and I'd be like, all right, well, you know what? Locking myself out, I'm going to just go, right? You start throwing everything away because you can't stop once you start. You can't stop once you start. You guys understand? Sheesh. That's fire. Free sauce, bro. All right, everybody. What we're going to do now is we're going to answer some questions. You guys have any questions about what I just said or just, whatever it is, whatever topic you want to talk about, right? and we'll kind of answer some questions. We'll talk about what you guys want to talk about, right? How to stop thinking this way. It's what I was saying right now, Kafka, about it's not about stopping the thoughts, right? It's about it's what I call it, the term is called metacognition, right? Which means thinking about thinking. It's not stopping your thoughts because you can't do that, right? If we could just stop thinking about certain things, right? I mean, you'd be like a genius. You'd be like a freak, right? So it's not about stopping the thinking. It's about recognizing, yes, my thinking is this way, but where does this thought lead to, right? Where does this action lead to, right? It's not about like prevention. It's about acceptance and moving forward rather than just trying to be like, I don't want to feel this way. You understand? So I'll give you an example. For example, if I get a thought that tells me, or if I feel like, hey, I should probably just take another setup, right? Let's say I took a loss, right? Let's say in the morning I took a loss, but then I see it's going in my direction, right? I see, oh, I was trying to go long earlier, but now it's pumping, so maybe I could just re-enter. It's not about saying I don't want to think that. It's about saying yes, let me think that, but let me think about that thinking, right? It's a kind of a weird thing, right? About thinking about that thought, which is like, like yeah, I want to re-enter, but what happened the last time that I did that? That's true. That's true. I did that like 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, and I blew my account. And there's a time before that. Yeah, that one time it might have worked out, right? Out of 10 times, it might have worked out, but out of 10 times, one time it might have worked out. 9 times it doesn't, right? And then once I start, I can't stop. Maybe instead of just accepting that, I should walk away. I should go do something else. I should think about something else. Naturally, you won't want to trade, right? You'll kind of recognize that, yeah, it's just a bad idea, and you'll walk away. You understand? How much have you made today? $0. I did not take a trade today. No, sir. I did not take a trade today. FOMO is real. It is. It is real, right? And like I said, it's not about prevention, guys. It's not about pretending that, those feelings aren't there, right? Because that's, in my work, I've seen it. I've seen people try and do that. They'll be like, nah, bro, I feel nothing. I'm emotionless. It works for like a couple of weeks, right? How many of you guys have done that where you're like trying really hard to not feel anything? You'll be good for like maybe a couple of days, a couple of weeks. I've seen people maybe like 2 or 3 months, right? Maybe. And then I'll see them post or I'll see them like DM me back or something and they'll be like, bro, I just blew every single account. Bro, I completely crashed out, right? We all know someone like that, or maybe you are that person, right? And it's because, again, you were operating from the wrong system, right? You were already crooked. You started off the wrong foot, basically. You know? How much for like a funded account on Topstep? I have no idea. Check their website. Right? Is it one loss, one win, and we call it a day? For me, it's only one trade. Whether it's a win or a loss, I can only take one trade a day. Why? Because I recognize one thing about myself, and you have to be honest, right? You can't be dishonest. Be very honest. I was honest with myself, and I said, bro, yo, low key, every single time I start taking that second trade, it never stops there. It's always 3 trades, 4 trades, 5 trades, 6 trades, right? Very rarely will I be able to stop myself once I start. So instead of giving myself that opportunity to even start down that path, I cut it right there and I say, nope, we got to go. Because I know that once I start, I can't stop. And naturally, I haven't overtraded in the longest time. It's been so long. Why? Not because I just like locked in or I was just disciplined. It was all about thinking, right? Thinking that, yeah, bro, I can't stop myself once I start. I gotta go. I gotta do something else. You guys understand? Befriend uncertainty and discomfort. For real. You gotta get used to being uncomfortable, right? FOMO is the worst when you need the money, for real. I know, bro. I know that feeling, guys. I'm the same way, honestly. You really do have to be honest with what you're thinking and feeling because dishonest. Yeah, exactly. If you guys, like, a lot of us kind of pretend that we don't feel these things, right? A lot of us are like, nah, bro, I'm good. Like, I'm not even that upset, bro, for real. I'm not even mad. And then it's like, oh, man, I'm actually like hella mad. And not only am I hella mad, I'm going to take a trade off of that, right? It's the same thing. I don't know how to do paper trading. I have a video on that, bro, if you want to check it out, Jason. Limiting your entries forces you to be picky. Exactly. That's another reason too. Before, whenever I allowed myself multiple trades, I'd kind of like not be, I wouldn't really care. I'd be like, yeah, whatever, I'll just take a trade here. I got 3 more, right? So having one does make you like, oh, do I really want to spend all my credits on one trade, right? Something like that. Are markets closed? Yeah, they'll open up in like 7 minutes, right? I'm just talking up with the chat. Do I set a lockout setting when I have a loss or a profit target? Not really, actually. I don't really set the settings anymore. And actually, I don't. like I don't think they're a bad idea. I think that a lot of you guys could benefit from that. For me personally, it never really worked out because I would just turn it off. Like I would literally just disable it and I'd just walk like I would keep going, right? And like in my mind, I would say like, ah, nah, bro, I have a setting. I'm gonna be good today. I have my lockout. I'll be fine. And then I would just disable it, right? So once I turned it off, it forced me to kind of confront why I was doing what I was doing, right? And then naturally, it kind of went away, right? And so now I don't need to. What do I trade best? What do you mean? Like the market, the ticker symbol? It's just NQ. NQ futures, NASDAQ futures. Woo, keeping trades microscopic, trades your brain to be comfortable with small gains. Yeah, exactly. You know, a lot of us, we have expectations. Like, we'll feel good, Ice. How many times has this happened to you? You'll feel good about a trade. You'll be like, yeah, man, look at this long. I followed my rules. I made my money. You know, I'm pretty happy. And then you'll go on social media or you'll see someone else post the same trade, but they held it 10 times longer or like way longer. And then, like, with more contracts, they made way more money. And then you start thinking one thing, oh, bro, I took that same trade. I could probably do that, right? I could totally get there too. I mean, look, I just took that same trade. Why can't I be this guy? Maybe I should size up. Maybe I should hold my trades longer, right? Why? Because you built an expectation that you need to be, right? Great. You need this expectation of, oh, this money's not enough, right? And then naturally, you know, if you look at other people or if you do other things, what ends up happening? You take bad setups, you force trades, or you can't handle the loss, and then it all just goes back down to zero. Am I right? This is me all the time. Today, the last time I would trade more than once, I keep finding myself doing more than two. Great, bro. Honestly, you know, Gmo, you're not the first one, bro. I literally had, I don't think he's in the chat right now, but literally, like, I've had people, I have a Discord, a free Discord, I have, like, the free community and everything, and I've had so many people. You can literally join for free right now, and you can literally see all the people already talking about it. Like, we're all the same, guys. Like, we all are, honestly. Like, I don't care what strategy you trade. Half the people in my Discord don't even trade the same strat or anything close to it, right? But what's one thing that every trader could relate to? Revenge trading, right? Over trading, FOMO, greed, anxiety, hesitation, right? All of us can relate to that. Am I wrong? I don't even know what you guys trade. For all I know, you guys trade something completely different, right? But then how can I speak on something that we all relate to? Because it's something that everyone goes through. It's a universal feeling, a universal concept that we all will go through at some point, right? That's why I choose to speak about that, right? That's why I choose to talk about what I talk about because it's something all of you can relate to, right? And I've seen it in the Discord, right? I had someone in here literally this morning, right? Yeah, I'll even pull it up, right? I'll show you, right? So this morning, you know, he asked, or actually this was yesterday. So yesterday he asked me, you know, he was like, hey, should I take another trade after the first trade if it was a winner to try to make more money, right? He was like, hey, I'm winning my first trade, but I don't know if I should take the second trade if my setup's still there. And I told him one thing, and I said, well, does that follow your rules? Like, do you want to do that? He's like, no, I don't, right? And so this morning, you know, he was in the Discord. He let me know. He was like, bro, you know, honestly, I wanted to take that second trade, and it kind of sucked that I didn't take that second win. But he recognized one thing that was different from yesterday, which was if this trade was a loss, I would have been pissed because I would have wiped away my win. I would have broke my rules. And yeah, this trade today, that second trade was actually a winner. He would have made more money. But he could recognize one thing, which is, yeah, but I would have broke my rules. I would have basically been like it wouldn't have been great. And I would have been upset. And then I would have probably been more likely to tilt. I would have been more likely to try to make that money back, right? And so naturally, what happened? He took the win home. And he had a good day, and now he's chilling. Now he's, doing whatever he's got to do. You guys understand? That's all it takes. That's literally all it takes is recognizing that, yeah, in the moment I feel this way, right? Again, validate the emotion. Don't try to pretend it's not there. But the only thing you have to do differently is recognizing that, yes, I feel this way, but I could also understand that my feelings change. For 1 minute, this trade's a banger. The next minute, it sucks, right? I could also recognize that I'm not always right, right? We're human. We make mistakes. So instead of measuring my own thoughts against myself, my standard, right? Because our standards change. 1 minute, everything looks good. The next, it looks bad, right? Our standards are not reliable, right? If you have a friend, right? If you have someone you're talking to and they're changing their story every single second. Oh, yeah, I meant LeBron James. Oh, LeBron James, I meant to say, oh, I meant Steph Curry. Oh, Steph Curry, I meant to say, right? And they start switching it up. You're going to be like, bro, you're not reliable. Like, why would I trust what you're saying? Right? You'd be like, bro, this guy's crazy, right? I don't trust you. So then when you come to yourself and your own standard, your standard changes, right? 1 minute this trade's a banger, the next it's trash, right? So instead of weighing your actions against yourself, which you're always going to say yes to yourself, right? You're always going to be like, yeah, it's a great idea. I thought of it. You're going to measure it against something that doesn't change, that's very solid, that is foundations, right? It doesn't move. Your plan. If you write down a plan and you put it on a sticky note and you say, I'm only going to take one trade and I'm only going to trade this time and this day and this strategy, are you going to break? Is that rule going to change? Is that plan going to change the next day? No, it's going to stay the same. You guys understand? That's all it is. That's literally all it is. Is when you get that temptation, when you get that thought, when you get that feeling that you should do something bad, maybe you should overtrade, you want to enter late or enter early, right? All you have to do is think on it and say, yeah, I feel that way. Yeah, I really do. Like, honestly, this is something that I believe in, but what I believe in doesn't necessarily have to be true. Let me ask and look at my plan. Let me check my plan and say, does this align with it? Yeah, it does kind of align with it. Then take the trade, right? And if it doesn't, say, nah, that's not really it, bro. Like, I only said one trade a day. This is my third trade already. I should probably stop while I'm ahead, right? You guys understand? And then you reinforce that way of thinking, that pathway, right? Our neurons. As you start working that way, it gets easier and easier as time goes on, to the point that eventually you'll get the thought and you'll be like, whatever, right? It'll start out as a big old monster. It'll come up like, oh yeah, bro, like yeah, it's hard to overcome, right? But the more you run away from it, eventually it's gonna shrink and it's gonna be like, bro, that's not a problem. Nowadays, I still get the same thoughts, but they're not nearly as strong and as hard to get over as they were when I started, right? I'll get that same thought. I'll be like, oh, maybe I should just enter, right? Maybe I should take a trade. We still have a lot of upside potential, right? But now it's a lot easier to say, hell no, that's going to break my rules. That's going to get me tilted. That's going to get me upset. So I'm not even going to try. Right? I'm not even going to think about it. I'm just going to walk away. You guys understand? All right, what other questions we got in the chat? Sorry, I kind of go on a tangent. What's the best people to watch starting out? It depends on what you prefer to wait, right? Everybody has their own people they like. I personally don't really recommend people anymore because I don't know them personally, so I can't say what they're all about. I take great setups, but it's the over trading that kills me. Usually it is, bro. Honestly, usually it is. Every time you break a rule, you're training your brain that it's okay to break a rule. Facts, right? You're just reinforcing that habit. What kind of good habits do you do before looking at the charts? Do I have a checklist? Yes. Right? If you guys are stuck, if you guys are breaking your rules, here's my checklist. Here's my routine that keeps me accountable and that keeps me, right, stable. Is one thing. I'll still go about everything, right? So I hop on the chart. I do the same thing, right, guys? I wake up, I go on my computer, and I'm kind of like, all right, what do we got? I'll sit there for like 10 minutes, 15 minutes, kind of just looking at it, be like, all right, well, this thing looks good, this thing looks good, this thing's good, right? And then one key difference before I press the buy button, before I press sell, before I press anything, is one thing. Is this action match my plan? Does this trade, right, align with what I want to see? Does this trade make sense according to my plan, or does it make sense only according to what I feel and think, right? So if I'm looking at a long and I'm like, yeah, this long looks good, right? I'll be like this, right? So let's say I'm measuring it out. I'm like, oh yeah, bro, this long looks amazing. I mean, bro, 183 points, bro. That's so much money. And look, the risk is only 50 points. I could totally take that. And then, oh man, and not only that, I'll get a payout. And if I get this next payout, then I can buy my next car. I could buy a car. I could buy a house. I could buy whatever it is, right? And then I'll take that thought and I'll say, okay, all right, that's what I'm thinking. But is this according to my standard, though? According to my standard or according to the standard of the plan, right? According to my checklist. And I'll look at my checklist or I'll think about my checklist. And I'm like, nah, because you know what? We don't have this thing. We don't have this thing, and also I'm kind of just thinking about the result anyways. I'm kind of just thinking about the outcome and not the actual trade. So I'm not even in the right mindset to take a clear trade, right? That's all it is. That's the only good habit that I've changed that stopped me, right? I used to be the same way, guys. I used to overtrade. I used to blow my account and then buy another one and then blow the second one, right? Same exact problems you guys are having. The only difference between me now and me then is I accepted that part and I said, yeah, I'm that type of guy. I'm the type of guy to blow my account, buy another one, blow it, buy another one, blow it 5 times before I even run out of money, right? So I accepted that part and I said, yeah, that's me. How do I get out of that? And then I recognize, oh, it's because I only look at what I see and feel, and I don't look at my plan. I don't look towards something stable and foundational and actually, solid and consistent, right? I only look at myself. I only look at my thoughts and my feelings, which constantly change, which constantly fluctuate, right? Which is something that you can't really trust, right? If you're happy, sad, happy, sad, happy, sad, I'll be like, bro, I can't trust you, right? If you're lying, telling the truth, lying, telling the truth, lying, telling the truth, I'm like, bro, I can't trust you, right? You guys understand? People suffer from overtrading. I'd be undertrading. If you're undertrading, you have the same problem, low key, which is what, right? So if you're undertrading, let's say that you have a model, right? You have your plan, you have your checklist to get in on a trade, right? And your trade presents itself, your setup presents itself, and you don't enter, you actually have the same problem as someone that enters every single time. Why? Because you're both looking at the chart same time, and you're both only confirming whether you should enter or not amongst your own brain and not against, right? And not against your checklist, not against your plan, right? So for someone who undertrades, they have the same problem. They come into the market and they say, "Oh, my setup's right there." But I don't really feel good about it because I don't know why. I just don't feel like confident in it. So I'm just not going to enter and I'm going to let it play out and then I'll think about entering. And then once I miss the entry, then I'll feel more upset that I didn't take it and I'll feel upset that I broke my rules and then I'll feel dumb and then I'll feel right. You guys, right? That's how it goes, right? Usually that's how it goes. Why? Because you trusted what you saw and what you felt and what you felt in that moment more than you trusted your model, more than you trusted your plan. A lot of you guys don't struggle with a lack of confidence. You struggle with too much confidence in yourself, right? Your problem isn't self-confidence or lack of self-confidence. You have too much, right? Every thought you get, every action you take, it feels like it's the best action you can take. You're like, "Hell yeah, bro. I'm not going to enter. Yeah, that's the best thing I can do right now." Yeah, I trust myself so much that every action I do is a banger, pretty much, right? Right? Obviously, you're not thinking that out loud, but that's pretty much what it is, right? That's what you're subconsciously signaling, right? Personal experience, I had to stop trusting my intuition and gut feeling. It burns me every time. Good, honestly, right? A lot of issue with intuition. I'm not saying it's never right. What I'm saying is it's very subjective. One minute it's a genius plan, the next it falls apart, right? I would rather focus on things that are very solid, things that don't change as much, things that are more, consistent than something that changes every day, right? Two trades a day from now on. Good stuff, bro. I'm glad to hear it. Real talk, facts. Yeah, that's what I'm saying, guys. Like, you know, like a lot of people will come and tell you, right? You'll if you guys just search up trading psychology, right? Just search up like how to stop over trading, right? Like literally, like I'll Google it right now. How to stop over trading. You're gonna get 100 videos, and they're all gonna tell you one thing: try harder, do better, right? It's all pretty much the same thing, right? It's just try harder, lock in, bro. Right? They'll tell you different ways about it. They'll say, "Oh, you should meditate. Oh, you should go on a run. Oh, you should," right? But at the end of the day, when you're sitting there and you just lost all the money, right? You're not going to be thinking, "All right, well, time for a run. All right, well, time to meditate." You're going to be like, "Oh, hell nah. What the hell? That sucks, man. That's BS, man. Trump tweeted and now my trade's gone. What the hell? That's not fair." Right? You're not going to be thinking about those things. Why? Because you haven't even trained your brain to isolate those thoughts. You haven't even trained yourself to recognize that these emotions, right? You just accept everything that comes, right? I'm going to tell you like this, right? A lot of you guys think, "Oh, I'm greedy. Oh, I'm anxious. Oh, I'm, X, Y, and Z," right? Most of you guys will say that. People come to me and they're like, "Bro, I'm greedy. Like I'm really a greedy guy to the core of my like every bone in my body." And I always tell them one thing. A true greedy person, do you guys think that they go around saying that I'm greedy and I need to stop? Right? Do you guys think that people that are actually genuinely suffer from like a greed disorder, do you guys think that they say that? Or do you think that they just move forward saying, "All right, I'm not greedy. I'm just realistic, bro. I'm ambitious," right? Same thing with like, anxiety. Do you think people with genuine anxiety just go around saying, "Oh, I don't know, bro, I'm anxiety. How do I get over anxiety? How do I stop being anxious?" Right? Do you guys think that they do that? Or do they say, "Bro, I'm anxious. Like, I can't change that." Right? Right? They're defeated by their problems, right? So if you have a problem and you're trying to overcome it and it's a genuine problem, right? You wouldn't even say, "How do I fix it?" Right? If you genuinely believe that you have a problem with overtrading, you would just say, "Bro, I have a problem with overtrading." You wouldn't say, "How do I fix it?" Because "how do I fix it" implies that you don't genuinely believe it's a true problem. You just think that it's a setback, right? So if you think that you have a genuine problem, I mean, think about it, right? If you genuinely couldn't stop overtrading, you wouldn't come to me and say, like, "How do I stop it?" Because you would recognize, "Bro, I can't, right? I'm stuck, right? I'm genuinely stuck." Those people who are genuinely stuck, right? If when they hear this and when they hear like, hey, there's actually a way out of it, they'll be like, bro, what? I never knew this was possible because they were stuck. But those who are not really stuck, right? If you're not really like actually having that much problems, you're kind of like, yeah, I think that makes sense, but I don't know. I think I could find another way around it, right? I see that a lot, honestly. I really do. Or they'll be like, nah, I don't think my problem's greed. I think it's just, I just don't know my strategy enough, bro. Those types of people, they typically get stuck in the cycle, right? They typically lose over and over again thinking, oh, it's this strategy. No, it's this strategy. No, it's this concept. No, it's this concept. Until they kind of burn themselves out and then you don't really see them again, right? What other questions you guys got for me today? Yo, can you show how to find daily bias? I have a video on that instead, Akaza, if you want to check it out. It just takes a little bit of time to explain, and I usually try not to focus on one topic for too long. But if you want Akaza, go check out the YouTube, bro. Got a YouTube channel with all that stuff on there if you want to go check it out. Right? And those of you who have been in the chat for a little while and who kind of think like, who really mess with it, right, guys? I know a lot of you guys have never heard of me before, right? You're like, well, I just saw this guy on my TikTok live page, right? For you page. So, while you're asking questions, feel free to type out your questions, right? I'll kind of answer the next ones. But like I said, I don't sell anything. I don't promote anything. I don't, right? I'm not here to try to tell you guys, buy my course or buy my, you know, mentorship. Genuinely, like I'm just trying to teach what I know is true, right? What I believe to be true. If you guys mess with that, no BS trading, right? I'll only tell you guys how I see it. Then follow, like, share the stream, right? Like, follow, it helps me out a lot. Right, and I have an Instagram and I have a YouTube and I have the Discord, which is all absolutely free. All of it's in the link in the bio. Right? It's all for free. There's nothing you can't pay me if you tried, right? So definitely go check that out. And now I answer you guys' questions. Is Triple T the GOAT? Yes, bro. Undisputed. Undisputed GOAT. How many consistent months of profitability until I can quit my job? I wouldn't be able to tell you that, bro. Unless I can look at your like finances and be like, yeah, bro, your house payment is this much, your car payment is like right. Unless I can say all that, then I can't tell you. Bro, just full port the account. Yeah, for real. This guy SB, bro. What do I do to stabilize your emotions in the moment of trading? I don't really try to because I've tried to do that. Like I'll try to be like, all right, let's calm down, right? It never really worked out for me. Instead of trying to like stabilize my emotions, I found it very effective to accept that emotion in the moment and recognize and really sit there, right? Actually be upset. Right? A lot of you guys are upset and then you try to be like, I'm not upset. I'm not upset. I'm not upset. Like that's not gonna get you anywhere, right? I'm the opposite. I'll be like, hell yeah, I'm pissed. This is stupid. Come on, man. Trump tweeted and now this trade's all, you know what I'm saying? Like this is like BS, right? The only difference is once I've gotten to that point, I'll think about it. I'm like, yeah, I am upset. Like, yeah, this does suck. But you know what, bro? What happened the last time I was this upset? Yeah, I remember. It was like a couple months ago. That's right. I was hella pissed just like this. And then I kept being pissed and I just accepted it fully. And then what ended up happening? Oh, yeah, that's right, bro. I ended up blowing my account. Yeah, I'm upset. I am frustrated. But I could recognize that I am only upset in the moment. Maybe if I just give myself time to think about something else, or maybe if I walk away or if I go to the gym, right? Then I'll be able to give myself that peace because I know that staying here, being upset, once I start that second trade, I'm not going to be able to stop, honestly. Once I hit that second stop loss, that third stop loss, it's over. This account is gone, like genuinely. But a lot of you guys don't think that way. A lot of you guys think, no, I can take a second trade and lose it, and I'll still have discipline enough to stop, right? Once I take my third trade and I lose it, I'll be able to stop, right? Every single trade you think I can stop, I can still stop. It's like an addict, right? An addict doesn't really think they're addicted. A true addict doesn't think they're addicted. They're like, bro, I can stop at any moment, right? Now I can stop smoking, I can stop drinking, I can stop doing, X, Y, and Z, right? I can stop, bro. I'm chill. They don't recognize that you can't, bro. You can't stop it, right? So once they recognize a true addict, once they recognize that they can't stop their addiction, that's when they're able to actually stop it. Well, once they recognize, oh, bro, I'm like a slave to this. I can't break out. Like no matter how hard I try, I can't throw it away. That's when they're able to reach the point. It's like called rock bottom. That's when they're able to actually break their addictions, and that's when they get sober, right? Because they recognize, bro, I can't stop. Like genuinely, no matter how hard I try. That's when they actually go to AA. That's when they actually do stuff about it and they're able to break free, right? How do you pass evals? I have a video on that, Benny, on the TikTok too. Just I think you just have to scroll down a little bit. It should be like it's kind of an old post actually. But if you want, just join the Discord or DM me, and I'll just send you the link if you don't want to go look for it. I could just send it over your way. What trade did you take today? No trades. I didn't take any trades. How did I learn to trade? Just the actual like concepts, or just like the mindset stuff, right? Concepts, you guys, you can learn a strategy in like 20 minutes, right? It's not really like complicated, I want to say, right? Anybody can teach. This is why I don't teach about concepts too much, right? I have videos and stuff on it, but like genuinely, concepts is just concepts, right? They'll change from person to person. I can teach you guys my exact same strategy, and all 100 of you guys are going to take, or all 40 of you guys are going to take different trades, right? So I always focus on things that actually are very consistent. One trade a day for me, even though some trades play out, I still don't want part of it. That's the only thing taking me to the next level. Facts, bro. Hey, I'm glad to hear it, man. That's progress. That's like actually progress, right? That's actually trying to improve, and like, like I said, and even if you don't, even if you break your rule, that's okay, bro. That's part of the process, right? We had someone in the Discord who was the same way, and genuinely, I seen him actually improve. Any comments on ADHD or OCD as a trader? Let me think about that. Yes, I kind of do have something I'll say, right? Which is, if you are like genuinely diagnosed with ADHD or OCD, there's one truth that you know, right? If you actually have like, right, a diagnosis, you'll recognize one thing that's special about you is you recognize like, dang, this is an actual condition that I have that I can't break, right? And so when you can accept that, because most people can't accept that they have issues, right? You actually can say like, I genuinely have a diagnosis. I can't break that. You can't just cure it, right? You can't just magically change that. So when you recognize that, it actually empowers you to say, well, if I can't break this impulse, right, then maybe instead of trying to pretend that it's not there or trying to break it and like try to beat my diagnosis, maybe I should kind of go the other way and say, yes, I have this diagnosis and I'm always going to struggle with that. But that gives me the power to say, like, oh, well, if I know that taking a losing trade makes me think this way, or taking, right? For example, let's say you have like an impulse saying, every time I walk past this doorway, I have to like smack the door, right? I have to hit the door. Then accepting that you can't stop that would say, maybe I shouldn't walk down that way. And of course, like I said, it might not work out, right? I don't have ADHD, so I can't comment on that, right? But that's the way I would say that makes the most sense to me, is saying like, oh, if I could recognize that walking down this path leads down this way, maybe I should go the other way, right? If I know that sitting there, right, sitting still for an hour is impossible, maybe I shouldn't try to sit still for an hour. Maybe I should go do something else, come back, set alerts, right, set things in motion, so that way I don't have to try to force myself to do that, right? Maybe it'll go, a different way. Make an actual plan that works with you instead of tries to, cure you, right? What's the YouTube? It's in the link in the bio, Treyway. Link in the bio. Just click my profile, and then there's a link, right? Just click that, and it has my YouTube, it has my Discord, it has my Instagram. Follow the IG, by the way. I post a lot of stuff on there, like banger content on the IG. Good stuff on the YouTube, and then, of course, the Discord's always free, right? It's literally just a community of people that are actually trying to improve. This isn't like a Discord where everyone's just like, measuring their trades. Look, I made 1K today. I made 10K today, right? It's not like that. It's like actually talking about meaningful improvement, right? I tend to overtrade when I'm in the red. In the green, I'd be good, right? That's exactly what I was saying. FG, were you here in the earlier part of the stream? I think you were, right? Where I was literally saying, like, you only look at, when you look at results, that's how I know that you guys are looking at results. Is like, when you're green, if you don't have issues when you're green, but issues when you're red, you don't actually have an issue, right? You don't have a, like, let's say you only overtrade when you're red, right? Like he was saying. Then you don't really have an overtrading issue. You have an issue with viewing the results differently, right? With viewing results, right? Because why is it that you don't overtrade when you're winning versus when you're losing, right? It's because something changes in your mind when you lose, right? Oh, why is it that when I lose, I overtrade? Well, whenever I lose, I feel like I have to make it up. Okay, why do I feel like I have to come back to break even? Why do I feel like I have to quote unquote make it up? Oh, well, because I don't like seeing break even days, or, etc. Like you kind of delve deeper. It's always a deeper issue, and the issue always leads back to the same thing, which is I need this result to make me feel this emotion, right? I need to get this payout so I can prove that I'm doing the right thing. I need this money so I can prove all these people wrong, or prove myself wrong, or prove this wrong, right? Or prove me right. You guys understand? It always comes back to the same things. I never see somebody with a very unique case, right? It always kind of leads back the same way, right? Just follow the Instagram. You can't join the Discord. DM me Gmail if you can't join. You should be able to join, but maybe the link's disabled or something. I don't know. I'll make sure to check it out. Alrighty, everybody. We've been streaming for over an hour. That is crazy. I don't know about you guys. It did not feel that long. Some of you guys were in here for like literally almost the whole stream, right? So, first of all, appreciate you guys for sticking around, right? Appreciate you guys for joining the Discord. I see a few of you guys have already joined. Appreciate you guys for following. I see, quite a bunch of new followers already. I'm gonna start wrapping up the stream, but before anybody leaves, before you scroll away, let me say a few things. Number one, if you want to see me stream again, I will be live tomorrow at the same time as this one, 2 p.m. Pacific Standard Time to roughly around 3 p.m. Right now it's about 3:20, so around this time, right? So I'll be live again tomorrow at around voice crack, holy, around this time. Okay, that's how you know it's time for me to hop off. All right. If you guys want to join the Discord, it is absolutely free. It's literally a community where all I do is I help you guys actually make real improvement. This isn't just like a ego contest or like a course or a mentorship, funnel. It's genuinely like I'm actually here to like talk to you guys about these topics. It's something that I'm passionate about. If you join and scroll up, you can literally see us talking about it the whole time. That's all we talk about, right? Second, if you don't want to join the Discord, but you still want to see more content, make sure to follow. I also have an Instagram you can follow. I also have a YouTube you can subscribe to. All of it's in the same spot, which is in the link in the bio. Everything I have lives on that link. If you ever want to find my stuff, it's just in that link. I have the link everywhere. And also, DMs are open, right? If you guys want to like DM me a question, you guys have a question you don't want to ask in public or something like that, just DM me. I'll literally answer you guys' questions for free. I answer so many DMs already, like you'll just be another one on my list, right? So yeah, without further ado, I think that's pretty much everything. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Again, you can always see me tomorrow. Make sure to follow. Make sure to check my posts, right? Check my profile. Check out some of my videos, right? I have some good stuff on there. So definitely check it out. And I'll see you guys all tomorrow. I appreciate you guys for sticking around. Make sure to follow, like, share, comment, all that good stuff, all right? Make sure to put my stuff up, push my stuff out, right? All right, everybody. Appreciate you guys for sticking around. DJ, SB, Treyway, SMT, FG. All of you guys are in here. Squash, Review. All of you guys are in here, right? Appreciate you guys for asking your questions, right? I'll be on the Discord for a little bit if you guys want to hang out or ask some questions, right? I'll be on Discord for a bit. So definitely feel free to ask your questions, right? Talk about whatever you want to talk about. Introduce yourselves. And I'll be on there talking to you guys. And I will see you all tomorrow. I'll see you guys later. Peace out, everybody. Have a good rest of your day. And I'll see you all tomorrow. Peace. 2 p.m. Pacific. Don't forget. All right, bye.